In these 4 billion years that have passed since Earth's inception, there have been many significant incidents that have threatened the lives of living beings. In fact, some scientists estimate that there have been as many as 20 extinction events throughout Earth's history. However, let's focus on the Big Five, 5 times when circumstances became exceedingly challenging for life on our planet. Ordovician-Silurian extinction event. Around 445 million years ago, during the end of the Ordovician period, life in the oceans was thriving with all sorts of weird and wonderful creatures like conodonts, trilobites, and early fish. North America was mostly underwater back then, so if you desired a swim, you'd have some interesting company. Life had been evolving and diversifying, setting the stage for many future species to come. But then things took a dark turn. 2 major events rocked the oceans, resulting in a massive extinction that led to the demise of a whopping 85% of all species over about 1 million years. No significant meteor or volcano can be blamed this time, though. One popular theory suggests that the supercontinent Gondwana decided to take a trip down south, causing glaciers to form rapidly and sea levels to drop dramatically. And just like that, many of the amazing creatures that once roamed the ancient seas were gone. Some scientists believe it was due to the oceans losing a significant amount of oxygen, making them highly toxic. Others theorize that it might have been caused by a gamma-ray burst, essentially a massive explosion of gamma radiation from a star-going supernova. These bursts are incredibly rare but immensely powerful, potentially damaging the ozone layer and bombarding us with harmful rays. It could be a combination of both these theories that led to the mass extinction event we see in the fossil record. Regardless, only about 15 of species survived, and it took millions of years for life to rebound. Late Devonian extinction event. Let's jump forward about 70 million years to the late Devonian period. At this time, animals were starting to inhabit land entirely alongside basic plants that were quickly spreading. The oceans were also bustling with life, featuring armored fish like the intimidating Dunkleosteus, a massive predator weighing over 600 kilograms. But the Dunkleosteus and many other species were about to face serious trouble. During the late Devonian, a series of events shook up Earth's biodiversity. The timeline of these events is up for debate, with estimates ranging from 500,000 years to over 20 million years, quite a range indeed. The exact details of what occurred are also fuzzy since the evidence is somewhat scarce and theories differ. There's this intriguing theory floating around that back in the late Devonian period, plants might have disrupted the whole atmosphere by absorbing too much carbon dioxide. Normally, carbon dioxide in the air is associated with warming the planet, but in this case it might have actually caused a cooling effect. Some individuals also suggest that a large meteorite, like perhaps the one that formed the Siljan Ring in Sweden, could have contributed to all this upheaval. But who really knows, right? What we do know for certain is that this was a challenging time for life on Earth. Coral reefs were decimated, armored fish vanished, and so did those sophisticated new ammonites. Around 70% of all species succumbed during this period. Moreover, due to low oxygen levels in the oceans, organic matter had difficulty decomposing, eventually leading to the creation of oil reserves in Canada and the US. The late Devonian was essentially a disaster zone for life, and although land creatures fared relatively better, everyone experienced a turbulent time during the subsequent extinction event. Permian-Triassic extinction event. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, make us happy by subscribing, liking, and commenting, and join our friend. Way back around 250 million years ago, there was this cataclysmic event called the Permian-Triassic extinction. People also call it the Great Dying for a reason. It wiped out a multitude of species, including the tough trilobites that had been around forever. It lasted for a staggering 50,000 years, making it the deadliest extinction event ever. Now, what caused all this chaos? Well, first off, there were these super intense volcanic eruptions in Siberia that lasted a long time. They emitted copious amounts of sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide, disrupting the planet's temperature and acidifying the oceans. These weren't your average volcanoes. They were massive, covering an area larger than Mexico with lava. And here's the kicker. They even ignited huge underground oil and coal deposits, releasing even more greenhouse gases into the air. Additionally, there were new microorganisms in the mix producing methane or releasing it from the seafloor. Pangaea, the supercontinent, was forming, which some speculate disrupted the oceans and weather patterns, leading to a myriad of marine life going extinct. Then there's British astrophysicist John Gribbin's theory. He suggests that when our solar system traversed a spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, a plethora of interstellar dust obscured the sun, inducing an ice age. Most species on land perished, and in the oceans it was even worse, with over 95% of marine life going extinct. Even insects weren't spared, underscoring the severity of the situation. But hey, some resilient creatures like the archosaurs, ancestors of crocodiles and dinosaurs, managed to survive. The Triassic period witnessed the ascendancy of dinosaurs, who began to dominate the scene alongside other formidable creatures like Eriops and Caprisuchus. Triassic-Jurassic extinction event. So, back in the Triassic-Jurassic era, things took a turn for the wild in the animal kingdom. Approximately 70 of species bid farewell and disappeared in less than 10,000 years. The primary suspect? A volcanic upheaval known as the Central Atlantic Magmatic Province, CAMP, which spewed copious amounts of carbon dioxide into the air and disrupted the ocean's ETH levels, a lethal combination for survival. And naturally, there's speculation about a meteoric impact on Earth, with some pointing fingers at the Manicouagan Reservoir in Quebec. It's hypothesized that this meteor might have fragmented before impact, causing multiple strikes worldwide, akin to a cosmic bowling ball strike on a global scale. Despite the chaos, nature rebounded swiftly from the extinction event. Dinosaurs asserted, "Hey, we're still here," and took over the world, demonstrating life's resilience when afforded the opportunity to thrive. Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event. So the dinosaurs had a significant run. They thrived for approximately 140 million years, which is remarkably long. But as they say, all good things must come to an end. Around 66 million years ago, there occurred the Cretaceous Tertiary Extinction Event, or KT for short, and that essentially marked the end for the dinosaurs. Unlike some other extinction events where uncertainties abound, scientists are quite confident about what transpired during KT. Luis Alvarez, a notable figure who even won a Nobel Prize in physics, proposed the idea that a massive asteroid collided with Earth at the end of the Cretaceous period. He and his son Walter observed that the rock layer from that time contained a significant amount of iridium, which is indicative of asteroid impact. Subsequently, they discovered the massive Chicxulub crater in the Yucatan Peninsula, which aligned perfectly with the timing of the dinosaurs' disappearance. This asteroid was formidable, to say the least. It measured approximately 15 kilometers in diameter, taller than Mount Everest if placed at sea level. When it struck Earth at a speed of 20 kilometers per second, it unleashed an explosion billions of times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. This impact disrupted the climate, ejected ash into the atmosphere, and triggered numerous volcanic eruptions. And just like that, it was curtains for the dinosaurs. Consequently, the oceans became acidic, greatly impacting most marine life. Furthermore, the sun's radiation was obstructed, leaving plants devoid of the much-needed sunlight. With no vegetation to sustain themselves, herbivores began to perish, followed by the carnivores who relied on them. Before long, 75% of all living creatures had vanished. But amidst this chaos, guess who rose to the occasion? Mammals. These creatures had been on the sidelines for eons, but with the dinosaurs out of the picture, they finally had their moment. Within a few million years after the KT extinction event, mammals underwent a remarkable transformation, evolving into incredible creatures like whales, dolphins, and primates. And thus, that paved the way for the ascent of humans, the dominant species on the planet.